Alright, anyways, so trying out something new. I'm trying to decide what I'm taking on my trip with me when I go down to my Kaylee 7s later on here in September. I always take too much stuff, especially electronics-wise. And I'm in the same situation again, I think. I had the GoPro, I had the X3, I had the Go 3, I had the Insta360 Flow for my phone. I buy way too much crap for the little bit of filming that I do. But here's my thought, and I thought I'd test it out for a few days. As you might be able to tell, I'm using the X3 on the helmet instead of the GoPro today, because I have the mic set up and I've used it before, and I can't remember how good the audio was, which is why I'm using the Cena, which I would be using down there anyways, because usually when we ride we use the Cena communicator so we can talk back and forth. And this isn't a meetup or anything where we're doing a lot of videos and stuff. I really probably could just get by with my phone and my GoPro and no other cameras. But I'm stuck to the mix of the fact that I buy the stuff and I'd like to use it, and the only time I get to use it's on my vacations, really. So I'm struggling with that. So I thought I'd try the Insta360 X3 on the helmet today, the Go 3 on the handlebar mount I made, and see what I think of them. One good thing I can see from this setup is they're both made by the same manufacturers, which means the color profile will be identical on a camera, I imagine. So there won't be any difference between, like the X3 and the GoPro would have. The Go 3 is made by the same company this X3 is made by, therefore, sound is available. Now, when I'm down there, of course, I'd be using Cena audio, I think, which means I wouldn't have to worry about audio as much, which means I could use the little Go 3 on my helmet instead of the X3 here. The X3 seems to be all right. It sticks above a little bit, but not nearly as bad as like the Vado was back in the original days when we first started doing this stuff. When we used to stuff, well, hell, back then I actually stuffed a regular camera in my helmet. I don't know how many of you have been around long enough to remember that. I know Smyrna Cowboy has, and my Kaylee 7, of course. A couple of those guys have been around long enough to remember the struggles of that. And then we had the Vado camera that we all used, which was just like the next coming back when it came. It fits right in the helmet. But anyways, basically what I mean is this thing is like, I can see it with my eyes. It's there. It's a little bit annoying. Not nearly as low profile as the GoPro, not at least the way I have it mounted. Now, being the X3, I'm sure I could rotate it on its side. I really don't want to do that, but I thought, I'll try this and see what I think of it, and that'll tell me what I want to do. And part of me thinks I should just go down, enjoy the trip, and not do hardly any filming, except for maybe shorts and stuff on my phone. So I'm trying to decide on that. So the struggle is real when you end up buying all this different stuff, and you tend to want to use it. And I can't really feel faulted for wanting to use the stuff I purchased. I just don't know if I want to track it all the way, down south and back. So I don't know. The struggle is real, I suppose. Warm today. Warm. It's supposed to be hotter this weekend. Like Thursday, they're talking 96, I hear. Oh, by the way, the day is the 21st of August, 2023. Welcome aboard. Present mileage on the bikes, 37,361 miles. And climbing. But camera stuff aside, I do have some sort of topic, I guess, that I'd like to talk to you all about, because I have people on my channel who who ride Harleys. I have people on my channel who ride Hondas, Kawasaki's, Spyders, all different brands of motorcycles. And the age-old, it's not even a question. Well, maybe it's a question. It could be a question. But for the most part, what you hear from many people, and I don't have any data to say whether or not this is true, false, I don't know if I agree or disagree with it. People who have these style bikes, Gold Wings and BMWs and any manufacturer that's a touring bike that's not a Harley Davidson, tend to be higher mileage riders than, say, a person who owns a Harley Davidson. I don't know where the data is kept for this. It may very well be true. It may just be a rumor that somebody started. I don't know. I didn't look into it. I didn't check I didn't check anything to see if it was. But all I can say is I owned a Harley Davidson for years, and I put a lot of miles on that bike every year. I mean, okay, maybe not in comparison to somebody who's retired or doesn't have to work anymore who rides. They probably put on a lot more miles. I mean, granted, I get that. I've seen some people under have been putting like 40 grand on one of these things in a year or more miles. I'm talking about the average person who has a job, who has to ride when they get a chance. Who do you think puts down more miles? Do you think it's equal? Do you think it's a split? Do you think people are right? Is it the Honda riders, Goldwing riders per se, put on more miles in general, and then the Harley Davidson riders don't? Could that be because, and there's nothing wrong with this, so don't take us, a lot of people are weekend riders. They ride their bikes on the weekends. That's when they have the ability to do that, so they get out and they enjoy it. Can't punish them because they work a lot of hours and don't have time to ride during the week, or maybe can't ride it to work during the week because of certain other things that, their job entails, that they can't just take a bike to work. Maybe some people don't like riding in different inclement weather. I mean, I get that. I don't like riding in the rain. If I don't have to, I will on a trip, but if I'm going to work, I'm not going to ride to work in the rain usually. What's the point? Now, for instance, I've had this bike since 2020, of January 2020. I bought it, it was new, but it was a leftover model. And I have put 37,000 miles on it. This is 2023. Now, one of those years, we had COVID. I didn't put nearly as many miles on it as I usually would. And this year, I actually caught COVID in June, so I didn't ride for June, which means I have 3,571 miles in for the year so far for this season. Usually that would be twice that by now for me, maybe more. But I don't know if you can really say that automatically that people who own Hondas ride more, or ride this, or anybody that doesn't own a Harley Davidson Tourer rides more in touring than a Harley Davidson rider does. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Again, there might be data out there I don't know about that I haven't looked up to test that. Very well could be the fact that, I mean, you do hear about people on Gold Wings doing higher miles rides than you typically hear about on a Harley, but that doesn't make a Harley Davidson a bad bike for touring. They're great bikes for touring. I went around the United States on mine when I had it. Although they do get awful hot, and I'm guessing like the new model with the 121 in it, the CVO, that thing must be cooking, even with the water-cooled heads. My 107 had a water-cooled heads, and I actually ended up burning my foot through my leather boot on the trip through Colorado when it got real hot. So I'm not sure about the heat coming off that engine. It's got to be pretty intense. I mean, not that the Goldwing don't get warm. It has an engine in it as well. It just doesn't get the temperature of a Harley Davidson because this is not air-cooled. It's fully liquid-cooled, where the Harley Davidson's an air-cooled bottom with liquid-cooled heads on a lot of them. So I don't know if that maybe cuts down people wanting to do the higher miles, or maybe it's because people with Harley Davidsons, stereotypically, unfortunately, are bar hoppers, like going to bars, And that's not the case with everybody who owns one. I know that's not, because I owned one. I didn't go to bars at all. I know a lot of friends I know, and they don't go to bars, who ride Harley Davidson still. And those people also put a lot of miles on their bikes. They go on a lot of trips during each year. So are they like the exception? Whereas like a person who maybe rides it once or twice a couple of times a year is the actual representation of the Harley Davidson rider they're speaking of? Because you see a lot of Harley Davidsons on the road, especially when I go on trips, and a lot of them are packed, which means they're putting on some miles. And not everybody can afford to go out for a long trip either. They can't get the time away. They don't have the money to do it. Maybe they just enjoy tooling around. Is what they like to do. But I do question, you know, is there data out there to show unequivocally that people do ride more that don't own Harley Davidsons? Somebody out there knows, let me know in the comments. I'd be interested in looking at it. I'm not going to look it up. I'm too lazy. But for right now, I'm going to continue on my way to work, and it's Monday, so yeehaw, I got a full week ahead. Full week next week, then we get the Labor Day weekend off. That'll be nice. Yep. All right. Well, this is Moose. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.